The two ordinary hosts of this podcast are not professionals on parapsychology, extraterrestrials, cryptozoology, nor would they describe themselves as religious or prone to superstition. They'd also like to make it known that this show is not intended for children or those with sensitive sensibilities. Please listen at your own discretion. And remember, the truth is often anecdotal.
Ba-ba. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Oh, I guess I should get, what's-his-face in here. Okay. Horror, as we know it, is defined as an intense feeling of fear, shock, or disgust, each of which a primitive factor for the survival of any species. Without them, we would heed no caution, allowing nature to do what it does best. Many things can twist the human psyche into experiencing this horror. Faces peering around corners, creatures growling in the darkness, and voices coming from where they don't belong. Which is, of course, the subject of this episode. Hello, listeners, I am Mr. R.
And I'm Mr. X.
Paranormal Dudes.
Reading paranormal stories.
Mr. X, do you have a voice?
Like in my head?
The silence that followed was such a good response.
Yes.
Ah.
Yes, I do.
Good. Have you ever heard it come from anywhere other than your own head?
Possibly. I mean, I'm sure we've all been out and about and heard somebody call our name and been like, huh, what? To find nobody there. Or like a million people there, but nobody you know.
Right.
So.
And like maybe they were probably talking to someone else.
Yeah, someone probably did call your name, but it was like across the store and it just happened to be someone with your name.
Yeah.
Which doesn't happen a whole lot to me.
Oh, sure.
Which is why I'm imagining that phenomenon hasn't happened to me as much as maybe some of these people in our stories that we have today.
Yeah. All of these Reddit posters are named John Smith. It's like, damn.
Hey, John.
John! Any name with a J, really. Do we want to discuss the elephant in the room?
Oh, yeah. This is the second time we're attempting this one.
So,
because of the curse.
The curse. If any of you listened to the last episode, we discussed how an episode that we had recorded failed, and this is our second attempt at it. So there's going to be a laugh track and possibly the Benny Hill theme song, just to kind of pump up the humor.
I'll after we record this, I'll record some fake laughs just in case I got to insert them in somewhere.
Okay, that sounds good. I don't remember who went first for this episode. I think you went first the last episode, though.
I don't remember, but we can do it however you want, man. Flip a coin if you want.
I'm currently looking at a story that I want to read, and I did replace one of my stories from the failed version, so
I don't remember any of them.
That's perfectly okay, honestly.
All right.
This was posted in r/paranormal encounters 2 months ago, as of recording, by Bop Away 0. Oh, Bop Away. Okay. It is titled, I asked my daughter to go back to sleep, and a man told me no. My 10-year-old daughter sleep talks. Sometimes she'll even sit up and look around. Last night she dozed off on the couch, and 15 minutes later she sat up and said, "Where did it go?" I said, "It's okay, honey. Go back to bed." She laid down and asked me again where it went. I said, "Go back to sleep." Then I immediately heard a man's voice right in front of me say, "No." I looked at my daughter and she was asleep again. My husband was in another part of the house in our bedroom, asleep. I'm still shaken. There was a man who passed away in our living room in 2017. There was also a man who shot his wife in the head with a shotgun in 1968.
Jesus
It's 1986.
Ooh.
Shot his wife in the head with a shotgun in 1986 in the driveway across the street. That's not related, I promise you. We also live by a cemetery, like next door. Never felt spooked until last night. I haven't slept. The voice was so aggressive. I hate this so much. It was so close and so real. I don't know how else to explain it. Update. I've just asked my daughter if she has ever had dreams about ghosts or sees ghosts. She said no, but in a completely little girl normal way. Sorry, I'm editorializing. I asked if she thought the house was haunted. She said, well, there are the dimes. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of times so I read this story weeks ago when we were trying to decide on these. But a lot of times you'll hear about like relatives haunting, quote unquote, their family members, but they'll leave like dimes around. I don't know. It's pretty common apparently.
It's so common that Jenna, my dear friend and good roommate, every time she sees a penny on the ground, she's like, "Oh, my grandmother was here." And I'm like, "Okay,
all right."
Yeah. So the story goes on to say, I forgot about the dimes. They fall on her. She has so many dimes. She's fucking rich. We rarely use cash, and she has a reloadable cash card, so we have no idea where they come from. She'll be in the kitchen, and I'll hear a coin hit the floor. She'll say, "Thanks, Jeff," and put it in her bank in her room. I forgot all about that. I didn't tell her what happened last night. I think it will terrify her. Oh, this has multiple edits, huh?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Edit 2, the dogs. We have 3 boxer dogs that heard it too. When I told my husband about what happened, he asked me if that's why the girls, who I assume are the dogs, woke him up scratching at the bedroom door, trying to get out. They usually all pile in bed with us. I heard them scratching at the door, but not until later. I had gotten up after my heart calmed down and decided to go pee once more before cashing in for the night. I thought you said you don't use cash. The dogs never do this. They go to bed when he goes to bed. Update again. Just now my daughter said to me, quote, "Do you think people can talk to ghosts? Do consider that we went to the new Beetlejuice movie after school yesterday, so that could be related." I said, anything is possible. My grandpa always said, if someone said they saw this or that, never dismiss it, because you never know. Hey, your grandpa had such a way with words. My daughter said, isn't he the grandpa that worked in the Air Force at Roswell's, the alien place? I said Roswell, and yes. She asked, did he believe in aliens and ghosts? I replied, oh yeah. He had an author he loved and talked about supernatural encounters. I can't remember his name, but my grandma would say he was crazy when he'd bring this sort of thing up. She said, well, she wasn't lucky enough to see that sort of stuff. I said, why do you ask? She said, oh, I was just curious. Okay. The last edit, which honestly, we could cut that last one.
This one is pretty spooky.
Okay. So edit
I don't know
again.
why she waited for the last edit to put this information in.
She added a whole dialogue before she added the creepy stuff. Edit again. Jeff was... Sorry, this is in all caps. Jeff was the man who died in our house. He was a nice guy and a family friend. We've always said Jeff jokingly, and we've agreed that if he were to do anything, he's obviously nice if he's leaving us money. I'm just answering this question a lot. I'm not mad, just want everyone to see this. The voice I heard was forceful and almost angry. Nothing has happened since, and my daughter has seemed unfazed. I've also been sleeping better after a couple of days. Okay, so I didn't expect that post to take so long.
Yeah, I don't know why she would add she'll say, thanks, Jeff, and then put it in her bank in her room or whatever. And not mention that
See,
Jeff was the guy
I thought
who
that was just
died
some
in
kind
the
of
house.
childish idiosyncrasy, like, oh, there goes Jeff dropping dimes again.
How strange. Also, how strange is it that you live in the house where a family friend died?
Jeff was the man who died in our house. He was a nice guy and a family friend. Yeah, okay, I won't say it's weird, but like...
I mean, were they just kind of like, oh, Jeff just dropped dead. I guess his house is available. And then like moved in.
Let me get my realtor on the phone.
Oh, man. Whew. This one had, what, 564 comments.
Well, certainly too many to read.
That's probably why they had so many edits, yeah.
Oh, that's fair. Dang. Okay,
man,
yeah, there's a lot of them.
The top one seems like it's its own story. So here, let me try giving it.
Yeah. Go
Let
ahead.
me give it a go. Just want to throw this down here. Forewarning, not my story. Also, I'm not 100% sure I believe in ghosts, but I do believe the stories people tell me. All right?
All
And I
right.
believe belief in and of itself is powerful. That being said, when my parents moved into our house before I was born, it was after the elderly previous occupant passed away there. She had doors that would open, specifically her closet accordion doors, and soaps would fly off the laundry shelf, among other things. One day, after being particularly spooked, she sat on her bed in her room and said, "Look, you are scaring me. I know you might not mean to do so, but you are, and you need to leave. Please stop." She didn't have an incident again, and it's been almost 24 years. Sending hugs. You're the one living there. Don't let it boss you around. So I guess this whole story was just to say, just ask nicely for it not to do that again.
So there's a lot of like metaphysical trainings that would tell you that this is exactly how you should handle this. Like before you go
Right.
off and sage your house, before you call a preacher, before you have a seance or whatever, just make it very known that you're not comfortable, and whatever's bothering you, that presence is not welcome. And I mean, I don't know how true that is, but I mean, here's an example.
Ooh, this story was the example.
Yeah, there's an example.
Yeah.
From simply passing through.
It's like the OP says, being polite does get you being polite does get you far. Maybe this is the way to go. Let's see, what else do people have? Gosh, man, these these comments are just as long as the story, huh? Let's see if there's I dealt with many paranormal situations. I think the man may have assumed you were speaking to him directly. This may be why he reacted. It may even be a perfect storm of time, location, and situation to trigger a response. If there has never been other situations while you've lived here, I wouldn't worry too much. At which someone replied, "Her, go to bed. Spirit, you're not my mommy." Yeah. Well, you know what? To be fair, when I was reading that and I heard she was like, Jeff was friendly, but this voice was like firm and almost angry.
Yeah.
Maybe Jeff just really likes your daughter. He doesn't want you bossing her around.
Oh, he's sticking up for her.
Yeah. It's like my partner has a cat, and anytime she's mean to him, I'm like, why are you so mean to him? He doesn't deserve that. It's not even my cat. So.
I'm the opposite. I'm so rude to Jenna's cats. I don't have a sense of smell. I call both of them stinky.
Let's see.
There's a deleted the user is deleted, but it says, "Wait, who is Jeff, and why does your daughter thank him for dimes?" The comment under that is, "Seriously, I know it's hard to remember to mention all the details, but Jeff is a main character here. We need more info," which is probably where some of those edits came from.
Right. Let's see. Another comment says here, "This is the terrifying content I'm here for. Thank you and good luck." I mean, I will say I got kind of, I don't know how to describe it, because I don't necessarily believe a lot of these stories, but sometimes you'll read something and it'll give you kind of like chills and you're like, ugh, I wouldn't want to experience that. Which certainly you wouldn't want to just hear some old man shout at you in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
While you're essentially alone.
Yeah.
Or even if you're not alone. If you're living with an old man, you don't want them shouting at you in the middle of the night.
Now, I don't know how this works, but the daughter sleep talks. Do you think that's hereditary? Do you think the husband sleep talks?
I think kids are just fucking creepy, man.
Okay, noted. That's the end of that question. No need to answer that. What are dimes good for? Why is Jeff dropping dimes? Why not I'm going to start low and say quarters, but maybe $50.
I think it's because dimes are light.
Oh.
It's not as hard for ghosts to pick them up.
Or, also not so harmful to be dropped.
Unless it's from the Empire State Building, but yeah.
Yeah. Imagine all the ghosts doing that.
That's where all the dead people go. They're like, I know we can pick up dimes. I just need to find out if this is true.
The moment a dead guy realizes he can pick up a coin, I've got an idea.
But then I don't know how ghosts work, but maybe they're trapped at whatever location that they inhabited as a living person, so they can't
Right.
even travel to New York. It's a lot like you. You've never seen New York. You don't know
Therefore,
if
it doesn't
exists.
exist. Yeah.
So even when you pass away, you might never even be able to get to New York at any point, unless you decide to do so as a living.
This is not a part of this episode, but X, have you have you read the story about the woman who married a ghost?
No. Well, I don't think so.
You do not have to read this right now, but I am going to send it.
Okay.
Long story short,
maybe it's an idea for another episode.
and this might even be a different story, but a woman who claims to like have sexual relationships with ghosts went to a beach where she met her ghost love and she got married to him, but just recently in 2023 she filed for divorce.
Where can you marry a ghost?
I don't know. It also begs the question for me, how many ghosts do you gotta fuck before you find the right one?
She kind of looks like Elvira.
She does give Elvira vibes, yeah.
Yeah. Well, all right.
That checks out. Yeah, what's your story?
Let's move on to the next story. I'm going to read another kind of creepy one. But this one is going to beg the question of whether or not these are actually ghosts or something more sinister.
Okay.
So, all right. So this one is from the subreddit Ghost Stories. It was posted 2 years ago by Worried Wishbone 643. I'm going to imagine and hope that it's in reference to the TV show
Wishbone
with the dog Wishbone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one's titled Late Night Voice Outside in Our Yard. So it goes. So this one is kind of short. My step-siblings came over like they did every other weekend and stayed. It was late when I gotten up to go to the bathroom. I laid back down in my bed to go back to sleep. Mind you, it's summer, so I had my window open. Just before I could go back to sleep, I hear a faint, "Help me." So I get back up and look outside, since that's where I heard it from. We lived in the country, so unless someone was on our property, I shouldn't have heard anything. I heard it again, but a little louder, coming from by our garage. I heard it 2 more times before I closed the window and started off to sleep. Take a drink anytime someone just immediately goes back to sleep during something creepy. Just as I dozed off, my little stepsister started to scream. Woke up the whole house. When we all got to her room, she told us she heard someone or something trying to open the door. My room was closest to the door she was talking about, but I wasn't able to hear the knob turn. She never heard the voice, but I did tell her, and she told us that she just woke up and heard the knob jiggling and started to freak out. That's the end of the story. Which, yeah,
that's awful. Like, Mr. X, you've lived in some pretty remote areas, yeah?
Yeah, when I lived in Puerto Rico, it was pretty fucking remote.
Yeah. I don't really know the culture down there, but I'll say in Central Texas, when I lived in the country, if you heard someone say, "Help me," I don't know, that's either a trap or you are now in the setting of a horror movie.
Yeah.
I do love this baller ass move though of hearing something creepy outside too many times and just shutting the fucking window.
Yeah, and trying to go back to sleep.
That's enough of that.
Oh man. You know, I will say something very similar to this happened in my current apartment. I was laying in bed and I was asleep. It was like the middle of the night, and we had our windows open because we're on the 3rd floor, and we're not worried about people scaling the sheer face of the wall to get into our place. But we're trying to just get a nice breeze in when all of a sudden my partner wakes me up and she's like, "Did you hear that?" And I was like, "What?" Because I didn't hear anything. And she was like, "Someone just screamed at the top of their lungs, 'Help me,' outside." And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "You didn't hear that?" And I was like, "No." And so I get up and I look, and there's nothing out there. But she was very freaked out, so I looked a few more times. And eventually I saw like a security guard kind of scanning the area where she said it came from, and I could see like police lights in the distance or whatever. We do live very close to a public transit station, so I don't know, maybe somebody drifted over this way. But in my head, I was like, I probably didn't hear it because we lived in Philadelphia.
Oh.
And my bedroom was street level where people shouted all the time through my window. So it probably just didn't bother me. But yeah, I had no idea what that was. Never found out anything. So tried looking on some of those like neighborhood apps and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, where the sound would have came from is like office buildings. So we're like the most residential or the closest residential property to that area. So we would have been the ones to report it. So now who knows? But let's see.
Scroll to the very bottom. Read the last like.
Oh yeah, so there's not that many comments on here. It's 14, and I think a lot of them are like replies. Are you talking about the one from Fit Firefighter 329?
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So this user commented, "This happened to me in Florida. Turns out it was a bird whose call sounds like help me. Scared the crap out of me at the time, though." To which worried Wishbone 643 responded, "I hope it was a bird. LOL." Yeah.
What? No, I'm not gonna get over this. I'm gonna YouTube this bird.
It doesn't say what kind of bird it is, though.
Well, fortunately, I'm a sleuth. It's called a curlew bird. That's Curlew. The curlew has a call that some say sounds like a woman screaming. Oh wait. That's not. Hold on.
It sounds like a mountain lion. Yeah.
Oh, I found a Reddit post.
Oh.
Hold on.
Was it by Fit Firefighter 329?
No. It's on r/what bird is this?
I love how that's a subreddit.
Man. Okay, well, this video sucks. Okay, hold on. Sorry, I'm waiting for an ad. Okay, this sounds like a fucking bird. I'm so upset right now. Hold on. The black-capped chickadee song is often described as sounding like yoo-hoo. But that's not what I typed in. Sorry, there's another Reddit post under r/birding, and the title of it is "What bird sounds like this?" And in parentheses they wrote ooh, ooh.
Oh, jeez.
We should make a bird
start
podcast.
A birding podcast. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, this story was luckily pretty short, so we can move on to another one because I think I have two more. Because there's one I definitely want to get to, and then there was another one that I thought was so funny from the last one that we should definitely cover it. So
okay.
If you want to move on to your next one, give it to us.
Sure. This was posted in r/ghost stories as of 2 years ago by Jupsy Danger. The title is "Don't Open That Door."
Ooh, I do remember this one.
Yes, this was one that we did read the other day, or I was say the other week. Here's a little background context. So this post, sorry, there's no comma there. Here's a little background context. So this past Thanksgiving was hard for my family. It was the first Thanksgiving without my biological grandmother. I called her Nana. Her life partner, my other grandmother, who I called Nani. Oh, so now I got that out of the way. That was said weird, but it was her first Thanksgiving without her Nana, but Nani, grandma's old life partner, is still around. So on Thanksgiving night, me, Nani, and my half-brother were all sitting in the living room reminiscing on past Thanksgiving we had spent with Nana when we heard something fall in the master bedroom. Nani had closed the door to keep the dogs out of there, so no one and no thing was in there. We brushed it off and decided to put on a movie. Yeah, a creepy sound. Let's just watch a movie.
Sure.
And we're watching it when we heard voices coming from the room. We paused the movie to listen, but couldn't quite make out what they were saying. We assumed it was just the neighbors, and were about to continue the movie when we heard a voice call out to our Nani. In my Nana's voice, only it wasn't her. We all knew it. Again, she called out this time for me. This time the tone in her voice was urgent, like she was hurting. "Help me," we heard her cry. My older brother, who has never really encountered nor cares for the supernatural, was shaking. He tried to get up when Nani shouted, "Something's..." Oh, sorry. Okay, I see. Hold on. My older brother...
Yeah, the punctuation in this one is
it's
a little
rough. My older brother, who's never really encountered nor cares for the supernatural, was shaking. He tried to get up when Nani shouted, something she's never done, "Don't open that door!" Again, we heard my Nana crying while pounding on the door. When at 11:52 p.m., it was quiet. That was the time that she died. Till this day, we haven't spoken of what happened. Nani had me sage the entire house the next day. End of story.
Gross. Ugh.
Yeah, awful.
Oh, man. What was the story you did last week that was kind of a bummer? Shit, I can't even remember.
It was the cursed one. It was the everyone named Andreas.
Oh, the name. Yeah. First you bring Andreas, and now you bring Nana.
Look, I'm sorry, Nana. I apologize that you have to, spend the rest of your afterlife banging on a door saying "help me," unless it's not her, unless this is like some terrible entity that is like abusing the family by imitating Nana. But yeah, awful.
Yeah. Ooh. I mean, this first comment's pretty relatable. Why did I read this alone at night?
At night.
At night.
Everyone can mark off their SpongeBob reference counter for this episode.
Barbara Salish. What? How the fuck do you say this? Barbara Salesh.
Is this
says?
Okay, it's a name.
It's a commenter's name. Yeah. Something tells me it was smart not to open that door. To which Soncha23 responds, "I am so curious as to why she said that, and why do you also think so? Could you enlighten me? Thank you." I don't think anybody responded to this dude, but it had 6 upvotes.
Something tells me it was smart not to open the door. Well, yeah, it was smart.
If you hear something coming from the other side of a closed door in your own house that you know no one else is in, don't open it.
There are so many layers to this, though. Like, when you hear something in a room where things should not be, that's a concern. When you hear a voice in a room where a voice should not be, that's another layer of concern. When you hear your dead grandmother...
Dead? Yeah.
Like, nuh-uh.
No, just don't...
Cut your losses.
Doesn't you just get the hell out of the house,
yeah,
man.
Yeah,
you
take
don't
a
put
Sonic
on
run.
a movie. Go to the movies. Like, go somewhere that's not there.
Yeah.
And then on your way out, just slowly take a Zippo lighter and light one of the curtains, so when you get back, you can just make an insurance claim and you never have to deal with that again. Hopefully.
You just tell people to commit arson.
Yeah. Let's see. Trash Stars said, "I hate to even think on this, honestly, and maybe you won't come back to this post, even since you guys haven't talked about it ever since."
Okay.
Like, maybe they just won't come back to the post. But did your Nana pass in the house, or had she taken ill and been cared for up to approaching her passing? I'm sorry. I've been witness to similar situations, and while it seems you guys are leaning towards it having been malicious, it also could be residual. That's even more haunting. In that case, if it's residual, that means that experience happened there, yeah? It means your Nana was probably calling for help, and nobody in the house helped her.
Oh.
And you deserve to be haunted.
Oh, so she's she's just reliving, or not living, replaying, experiencing the last moments of her life, and without anybody going into the room to check, she'll never make it. Oh, I made myself sad.
Yeah, it took a very sad turn there. Jeez. Let's see. What happened when she did finally open the door? Or did she? Has she slept in that room again? I wouldn't.
No, there'd be no way. That master bedroom, guess what? That's storage now.
Although I will say, when when we were living in Puerto Rico, we moved there shortly before my adoptive grandmother got very ill with lung cancer, and she did die in the house. And it was like my uncle's house that she stayed in for literally as long as I was alive, had been alive up to that point.
Mm-hmm.
And since she died and was buried, my uncle had my mom and us move into that house, and we just shoved my little brother into that room where she died. It wasn't creepy, no hauntings. The one thing that did creep me out though when we first moved in is that she had like a large, and I mean like this thing was the size of a toddler, Mother Mary statue in that room, and it gave me like the heebie-jeebies. I had like an unsettling feeling over me anytime I would look at it. So we just moved it into the basement, and then yeah, that feeling went away.
Well, good. I'm glad.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm back here to see if any of the questions were answered as to how Nana died. I don't see any answers. How many? It says 20 comments. It doesn't look like the OP actually responded to a whole lot. There's only 2 I see a response to, and one is, surely you asked your Nani why she said that, or is that just creepypasta? Which OP said, I've tried to talk to her, she refuses to talk about it. Oh, so Nani murdered your grandma.
Oh.
She just...
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting.
Nani poisoned the room.
Oh, man. That's, This gives me Sixth Sense vibes.
Oh, one of these kids has been dead the whole time? The poster's been dead the whole time?
No, not Twist and Sixth Sense.
Oh.
Just the fact that he can hear them. Like when he's at the birthday party and he hears the guy shouting from behind the door, and then the kids like lock him in there.
Oh man, it's been a while since I've seen that, and that just gave me so much anxiety.
Yeah. I mentioned this to you the other week, but we rewatched it recently, and not as scary as I thought. Like again, I was kind of like a little scaredy cat when I was a kid, so I never wanted to watch scary movies. Then as I got older and more into movies, you realize how ridiculous they are, and so I finally was like, I'll sit down and watch The Sixth Sense all the way through, whatever. My partner had never seen it. Of course, I know the twist and all that stuff. Watched it. A lot more sad than it is scary. A lot more serious. But no, she didn't know the twist. And I realized this like halfway through the movie. I was like, oh, she really has no idea what this movie is about, because they don't get to the ghost part until halfway through the movie.
Right.
Like it kind of implies that he's being haunted by something. But yeah, it's not till like literally halfway through the movie that he's like, I see dead people. And she was like, what? Where's this going? And I was like, oh shit. Like she really doesn't know.
She got
what
really
this
excited.
Yeah, so when it got to the point of the twist, I was like filming her, and I got the perfect reaction out of her. So all right. Well, I guess we'll just end it with Nani killed Nana, or at least let her die horribly.
Sure.
So that we can move on to another story, a much more lighter story. So let's see. Like I said, I do have 2 more. We're probably running a little late, but these are short, so I'm going to do my first one here. So this one is from the Paranormal subreddit by CowDelicious7055. And it's titled, Massage Chair Suddenly Had a Male Voice Come On and Gave a Compliment. So this morning, my wife was downstairs and was coming out of the laundry room when something unusual happened. This is the first time something like this took place. We have an Osaki massage chair downstairs that supports only very specific voice commands and Bluetooth. The massage chair uses a robotic female voice, and the voice commands are not nearly as smart like Alexa or Google Home or even Siri. Anyway, as my wife was stepping into the short hallway from the laundry room, she suddenly heard the chair start to power itself on, but it did not start doing any massages. She only heard the initial startup of the chair. I was asleep, so she thought it might have been me messing with her. What happened next is the chair said a compliment in a male voice. After the chair was done powering up, she heard in a male voice, "Hi, your hair looks different today." What? So I don't know how to read that one. What? She quickly went upstairs to find me asleep, but I was already waking up, so she was telling me about what just happened. Later that same day, my wife and I decided it would be good to do a channeling. She is far more experienced with channeling than I am. When she got into a meditative state to channel, she asked, "Did the voice have anything to do with paranormal activities? Is it evil?" Yes, it was paranormal, but not evil. She asked a few more questions to clarify what happened. She found it was just a greeting that came from my wife's male spirit guide. So
It sucks that we don't have the original audio because I remember us talking about this was pretty good. We had a few good bits in there.
Well, I wanted to know what a spirit guide was.
Oh, right.
Which I have literally already forgotten. But let me Google that one more time to get that definition.
Okay.
Spirit guides are non-physical beings who help you find your way in life, make decisions, and navigate obstacles. They communicate in symbols, signals, and dreams. A spirit guide can take many different forms, from ancestors and departed loved ones to spirit animals, angels, and deities. There's more on there, but I'm not going to read all that. From WikiHow. Thanks, WikiHow. You've been a big help the last few episodes.
Absolutely.
So I do remember thinking that if I had a spirit guide, I wouldn't want it reaching out to me and complimenting me, especially not in weird, creepy ways like this.
Sure. I mean, but before we even get into that, this isn't a compliment. Definitely a point I brought up last week. Your hair looks different today is objective. It's not subjective, right? Your hair looks different isn't a compliment. It's just an observation.
It could have easily been a compliment had they just simply added, "It's nice" at the end of it.
Oh, yeah.
Your hair looks different today.
Your hair looks different today.
Nice.
It's nice. That does imply that their hair looks like shit every other day.
Yeah. But which leads to the first comment, which is great. Did her hair, in fact, look different? To which OP responded, "Normally, it's in a bun with a hairpin that looks like chopsticks. Today, she left her hair down." Okay?
Yeah.
Maybe she got it done, and you just didn't notice.
And
maybe you just thought she let it down, and this chair
is trying to put the moves on your girl.
Which would make a lot more sense with some of these later comments.
Oh, yeah. A lot of those.
To which, let's see, how many comments were on here? About 46 of them, most of which are all pretty much the same consensus. But let's see, this next one says, if it supports Bluetooth, could someone have connected to it? It'd be more weird that it is a very alive and well creep versus an entity. Is there any reason to believe it is paranormal? Have you looked into the history of the home? So, yeah, that kind of begins this little shift into hacking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Someone could have just hacked your chair and been spying on you. One of these other, at the very next comment says, if your massage chair has a camera or if you have any security cameras in your home, and if your chair is able to connect to Bluetooth, it is possible you were hacked. They said that in question form, but that's just a fact. Did you guys try to rule out the other possibilities before jumping to paranormal? Also, I would be careful with channeling things. You truly never know what is responding back to you, and I honestly feel that dark entities often disguise themselves as guides or good spirits when they aren't. You could be inviting things into your home unknowingly. Be safe. I thought OP responded to that one. Oh yeah, so the comment on this post is about the those little robot vacuums that got hacked.
Oh, that's
which
right.
I don't know if you remember. Yeah, I mentioned this last time, but somebody hacked, or a group of people hacked those little. They're not Roombas. They're similar to Roombas, but I think they're specifically just in China. But they hacked them to like control them and have them. I think they were using their own voices through the vacuums. but they're just shouting slurs at the people who own these things, which
lazy prank, really.
Yeah, lazy and just really shitty. Could have done so much funnier stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
this could have been this could have been Impractical Joker's level of funny.
like the guy who updated his Roomba or his little vacuum so that anytime it bumped into a surface, it would scream. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen that video, but it would scream like, son of a bitch, like an actual person, like it just stubbed its toe. Could have just done that all day. That would have been hilarious. But instead, you were just lame. Let's see.
There's a comment toward the bottom that I posted from our account here on
Reddit. Oh, yeah.
I said, no, you go ahead.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. Oh, man, there's a lot more comments than I thought. From Pond Pod 14 days ago. How long have you had the chair? Has it reached its manufacturer warranty? Yeah.
The conversation we had that led up to that comment was, what if the manufacturer of the chair was trying to make you think it was haunted so you would return it and get another one, but this only happens after the warranty is expired, so you'd have to pay for another one.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're wasting money on a massage chair, you
probably got
deserve to be suckered into doing it again.
I didn't think about this last time. What if that's a setting in the chair that like it updated to, right? Like when it detects someone is near, it's just supposed to be like, I hope your day's been well. Your hair looks different today. So, how are the children? Where are the children?
It's like, does the chair have a camera in it? Which you would think, like, why does the chair have a camera?
But I can't think of any good reason for that.
I have a smart TV that is voice activated, which I never use that feature. We literally only got that TV specifically because we thought it would be higher quality than like a TCL or Roku. It's not. But I'm always like a little paranoid that there's a camera in it and it's just watching us like loaf around watching TV, just rotting on our couches. But there's something even more unsettling than like a ghost or demonic forces or anything, that your fucking massage chair is literally just watching you. If it was just a simple update and it has like AI now where it's like looking at you and it's like, I detect a change. Hair is different. And then it just speaks to you. That'd be fucking creepy, right?
Yeah, way creepier than, I don't know, a ghost telling you that your hair is different.
Probably not. Probably just as creepy as an actual person watching you through your camera. But it sounds like this is in a basement. So this person has to be like staring at a wall. Or no, what did we say last time? It's like the FBI agents that watch you. The warranty person is just sitting there watching through the camera, waiting for something to happen so they can break your chair. Yeah. Okay, I do remember that now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Well, all right. Let's move on to my last one here, and then I'm sure you must have some Ask X questions.
Oh, surely so.
So let's see. This last one is what inspired the idea for this episode from the Paranormal subreddit by user Hush Kalababa, titled "Tiny Voice Said Milk." Just wanted to share this since the platform is here. This happened last year. One afternoon, I was laying in bed scrolling through my phone for about 20 minutes. Out of nowhere, I heard the clearest whisper from a child in my right ear say, "Milk." I froze and felt goosebumps all over my body. I looked around my room frantically and waited for my then roommate to say something. She didn't, so I figured she was sleeping. I stayed in bed, very creeped out, and eventually got up. I was too spooked to move around the apartment, but I knew I couldn't be in bed all day. I walked to the kitchen and saw that I'd left my tea on the counter. I'd gone to my room to let it steep for a few minutes before putting milk in it. I forgot about it because I got caught up scrolling on my phone. The little voice was reminding me to put milk in my tea. I was so scared to fall asleep for the next few nights. That's why my first time hearing a voice That was my first time hearing a voice so clear in my ear. Sometimes I hear voices that sound distant, but this one experience really spooked me. That's the story. This one was so funny to me because, like, literally my first thought was just, this is their subconscious, right? This is the little voice in their head manifesting itself out loud. But it was more than likely just her, right? It was just her saying tea, or her saying milk, because in the back of her mind, she was like, oh yeah, we made that tea. I really want that tea. We should go put milk in it. And milk was the one thing that slipped out of her lips. And she just thought it was a voice in her ear because, I mean, who knows? I don't know if you've ever tried this, Mr. R, but if you whisper out loud, just whisper the word milk, it'll just sound like you're trying to speak to someone, right? But if you cover one of your ears with your hand and say milk, it'll literally sound like you're whispering it straight into your ear.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So I don't know, maybe they're scrolling on their phone with their, like, tilting their head into their hand and, whispered milk out loud to themselves and spooked themselves. That's my explanation. Only because the idea that it's funny to me, having some little kid running around your house like, hey, dumbass, you forgot to put milk in your teas. Also a possibility, I guess. The first comment here says, you have a cute little ghost as a roommate. Talk to him. He might appear in your dream. Why would you want that? That's so fucking creepy.
What about what if the kid wants milk?
Oh, yeah. Because kids are gross like that. Milk is disgusting.
I say I will drink a glass of milk.
No, I've had to purely move on to like plant-based milks, like oat milk and almond milk, just because I've never liked the taste of milk. Also, just the thought of where milk comes from is pretty gross to me.
It's not never great.
Yeah. Let's see. OP responded to that comment with, I'll try this. Oh, I'll try this. I know the community has experienced a lot of loss with children. What? What does that mean? Okay. Yeah, I guess the paranormal subreddit has a lot of encounters with child ghosts, which is very sad.
It's awful.
Let's see. Someone else responded with got ?
Got milk?
That's what I imagine.
That has to be what that comment means.
To which OP said, almond milk doesn't leave much of a mustache.
Oh.
A few times because in school they would force you to drink milk, right?
I mean, they would definitely give you milk. I don't know if they would force me to drink it.
Well, I mean, that was the only option. They didn't even provide you with water.
Right.
And we also weren't allowed to have water bottles, which was weird.
Well, that was the 90s and the 2000s where the campaign was that milk gives you strong bones, but there was
to which
no
I will say,
medical science behind.
What I will say is all the kids that I knew who loved drinking milk had all broken at least one bone. And me, who would never drink milk unless I was forced to at school, never broke a single bone in my body. So I don't know what that says. Yeah. Let's see. The next one says, I had an experience recently like that. I was lying in bed recovering from surgery and I heard a woman say softly, bless you. I also felt someone brush my hair out of my face when I was falling asleep. I think it was a ghost watching out for me. I don't know why that just reminded me of our former boss at the employment agency.
Okay, yeah.
Who would just say bless. Like if you sneeze, she wouldn't say bless you. She would just say bless.
Bless.
And I'm like, all right, thanks.
What are you, the Messiah? That's all you have to say?
Chicken Chaser 891 said, this is really weird. I wonder if you experienced some sort of echo in the Matrix from something in my past. Long shot, but here it goes. Oh, okay. Years ago, when my partner and I were first dating, I was taking a poop right before dinner. Awkward timing, I know, but nature calls.
Okay.
I mean, just making room, I guess.
Yeah.
My partner comes to the door and asks through the door, hey, Mike, what did you want to drink with dinner? Me being a heathen who was still obsessed with drinking milk on its own, replied in the weirdest voice, honestly don't know why or where it came from, and in the tiniest child voice my vocal cords could muster, I replied, milk. That's
so glad
MIWK.
I was like, oh man, I really hope he does a voice.
It has become a long-running inside joke for us, and reading your story brought me right back to that moment. Anyway, I'm sure they have absolutely no connection, but shrug emoji. Yeah, I doubt it, man.
What? Are you fucking serious? Well, it's kind of a long shot, and they might not be related, but, I said milk funny once.
Yeah, I said milk like a little kid once, and, kids never say milk. So
that's impossible,
it must
really.
have been me. Might be a house fae. Leave out some milk and say this is what I have. This is my due. I plan to be a good neighbor, and I hope we can both be good neighbors.
Okay.
Do not thank them. If you want to interact more, do heavy research. I don't have the energy to list all the rules. We are like cats to them. Some like us and some don't, and they have laws and rules that when broken, they will punish for. It's possible it could be a guardian angel, a relative watching over a little ghost. I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
No, something we haven't really discussed in this podcast is fae, and how in a lot of Eurocentric folklore, leaving out little treats for fae beings like leprechauns and fairies and all and whatever, was a very important part of coexisting with them. Somewhere at the beginning of the podcast, it should have been mentioned that we're not experts on any of this. So,
No.
But yeah, something about if you leave a saucer of cream on a windowsill, elves won't steal your shoes or something like that.
Huh. See, I've never had any kind of... so, man, this podcast is really going to bring back a lot of stories. I worked for Cinemark for a really long time. It's where you and I met. And, well, we met when it was just Rave, before Cinemark bought it.
Rave Motion Pictures.
But when Cinemark bought them, they brought on new managers. They did like a group of people. Your former boss, I can't remember his name, the dude who would wear the eccentric suits.
Oh no, what was his name?
Oh gosh, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But he was the interim GM while they found a new one to take over that location, and he brought on like these 4 people just from outside that he was like, I think they'd be good managers. Train them up. They were awful. One guy literally came in dressed like a sailor. That was his. Like, I don't know why.
What?
He was dressed like a sailor, and he only lasted like 3 days. But one of them was this girl who was very small, very thin, very cute. All the guys had like a crush on her, but very ditzy. Like, just, I would not have trusted her with any task, honestly. But they trusted her to count the money all the time. And my drawers started coming up short by like a lot.
Uh-oh.
And it happened literally 3 times in a row, to which, they gave me a warning. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll, count my cash more carefully. But then the amounts kept getting larger as I was trying to be more vigilant about it, which was weird. And so they literally fired me, and I was like, oh, okay. So I had to go off for a few months to do something else. Eventually I came back to them and I was like, hey, it's been like 3 months. Is there any possibility I can get my job back? And they're like, yeah, absolutely, man. We actually found out what happened. And I was like, oh, and they were like, yeah. So it kept happening after you left to other people. And so we eventually had to stop going to the employees and go to the person counting the cash, which was this woman who, I don't remember her name. I wish I could. But they go to her and they're like, hey, money keeps coming up short. Like, what's going on? She legitimately blamed it on fairies in the office.
There's no fucking way. How have you not told me this story?
Because it happened so fucking long ago. But she legitimately, that's what she said. She was like, it's fairies. They keep coming into the office when I'm not in there and taking the money and running off with it.
You're fucking fired.
What? And that's the thing. She wasn't fired. She was still working there when I
No,
came back.
that's
I was just like,
no. How did they
what?
Why would they have fired you? Well, what this tells me is that I can steal money from a business and blame it on fucking fairies.
Yeah. No, I saw your message. It was not Hines.
Okay.
It was God. What was her fucking name? I really can't remember. But yeah. I was just like, really, like you fairies. That's why. Okay, whatever. I mean, I got my job back.
Sure.
And I was with that company for way too fucking long, but still. Well, all right. I think that's gonna do it for the stories. Do you have any questions that you want to present before we finish this out?
Yes, I have 9% battery on my phone. I'm going to get them to you as fast as possible. In the general chat, I'm not sending you the same questions as last time.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I didn't remember them anyways, so.
That's okay.
All right. First question. The next sentence you speak will be heard as a disembodied voice by everyone on the planet. What do you say? I'm going to repeat an answer from last week. Forget about it.
Okay. So everyone in the world hears "forget about it." I guess.
Yes.
I guess in some situations that's extremely helpful.
It could be helpful, or it could just be like, did I just hear something?
Yeah.
What did it say? Forget about it. Wait.
Oh.
What? Should I forget about what
Forget
I
about
just
the
said?
voice?
You know? Yeah.
Or forget about what happened right before the voice.
It would create great confusion. Let's see. Question number 2. What are disembodied voices and trapped spirits?
Oh.
What?
No, this isn't the right one. I screenshotted the wrong fucking thing.
All right.
Motherfucker. I don't know how. Damn it.
All right. All right, let's move on to the next one. If your dog started talking, what would be the first thing they would ask you? Food? I'm positive it'd be something about fucking food. Even our fucking cat is super low maintenance. He only ever gets excitable or like super affectionate when he wants food. So I imagine whatever a dog has to say has something to do with food. Unless at some point they're just like, if you want to live, come with me. And then they take you to their food bowl. Yeah.
Here were the 3 from that I asked you last week. That sucks. I can't.
Let's see.
It sucks that I screenshotted the wrong one. I don't know how I did that. I had to edit the picture.
All right. So the first one was, you suddenly hear a challenger approaches from a disembodied voice. Who or what do you think your challenger is? Fuck, I have no idea, man. That woman who got me fired over the fairies.
There you go. Fairy lady.
Yeah, I'll fight her. Let's see. Next one. What's creepier, hearing a disembodied voice crying or laughing? I guess it depends on the situation. Crying is always creepy. It depends on the type of laughter. Like,
Yeah.
Is it maniacal laughter?
Is it a child?
Is it Seth Rogen?
Oh yeah.
If it's just Seth Rogen laughing, I'd take that all day, man. Yeah. All right, and last one.
Yeah,
Do deaf people hear a voice in their head when they think? Is it always silent in there? Can they hear themselves chew? I think this one threw us through a loop last time.
Yeah.
Do deaf people hear in their voice in their head? I guess it depends on how deaf they are.
Like when they became
when they
deaf.
went deaf. Yeah. And I'm positive, like, because what? Sound is just vibrations, right? Like, even if there's, I don't know. Like, when you chew, I'm sure you could feel it. I'm sure there's some kind of sensation inside your head that would allow you to, quote unquote, hear something. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's a
and there's
brain
no way to
scratcher.
ask them because they can't hear the podcast.
Well, you can certainly assign a question to them.
No, there's no way. They'll never be able to answer this question.
Yeah. Well, there was 8 comments on it, so
Yeah, I guess. Well, I mean, if you're asking on Reddit, yeah, they can read it.
maybe somebody had a response, but we'll never know on this show.
No,
So.
sadly not. All right, what do you think? We wrapping it up?
Yeah, let's do this.
Okie dokie. That's going to do it for this Disembodied voice-themed episode. If you have any supernatural stories of your own, you can submit them to us for this show on any of our socials at PairO'Dudes. That is at PAIR_O_DUDES.
We've been a Paranormal Dudes, ever in need of stories to intrigue, perplex, and maybe even frighten. So remember, if you can't explain it, post about it. And until next time, stay tuned and stay haunted. I was gonna do a tiny little voice. Oh wait, hold on.
Here we go.
Forget about it.